But I'd like to take you back for a very brief run through Kafka's history on the history of that's not what Kafka's for. Kafka started as a message bus for communicating between microservices, right? Really good at it. When a few years later we decided to start doing event processing, there's a whole bunch of people that said that's not what Kafka's for. Yeah, it's probably the primary use case for Kafka today. You go for a take on Flink and Spark and go on to the observability world, there's a bunch of people that said that's not what Kafka's for. You need an external system to do this, right? And finally, here we are arriving in 2024, and we're starting to use Kafka directly for complex analytics. And the most common question I still hear is, but that's not what Kafka's for. There's a couple of trends that go through that history, right? First, the role of Kafka is expanding and continues to expand it. I've spent 7 years of my life now working on Kafka, and my favorite thing about Kafka is it keeps changing, it keeps moving, and it keeps adopting new cases. It's really exciting, and I absolutely love it. And it's driven by a larger amount of data. I've not really seen anything transform in this way except the last project I worked on, which was Apache Hadoop. Right? That moved and transformed, and again, that was driven by a larger amount of data. Just kept going and kept going. And as it goes, people go, wait, there's a really, really big store of really useful data. I should probably do something different with that. And don't stop, by the way. That's brilliant. Keep pushing people, keep doing that. That's what the project's for, and it's fantastic. But one little trend that I wanted to flag while we're here is that the adoption of new features is accelerating. If you look here, it took 6 years to get to effective event processing, another 4 to get to observability, and only 2. I give it another few Kafka summits, and we'll be delivering massive new features every week. So what that means, by the way, is that the balance is shifting. Kafka originally, purely transport, and that's the way our mindset works. That's what we thought about it. It gets data from A to B, right? And it has a small buffer. There's a small historical element in here. The most recent changes that we see are focused on Kafka as a fully fledged storage layer. If you think about the likes of Kit 405, I don't know, hands up who's heard of Kit 405? Hey, that's really good. I like that. Kit 405, for those that don't know, is the integration of Kafka's data layer with basically very, very cheap and cost-effective storage for cold data sets. So it allows you to push your old data in Kafka up into something like Amazon's S3 or Azure Blob Storage or something like that, somewhere where it's really, really cheap. That sounds complicated. What it really means is I need to change your thinking from what retention should I use to this topic to do I even need a retention on this topic, right? It should be, if you're, say, firing up a Confluent Cloud or something like that, and you're creating new topics here, they have a little tick box for unlimited retention. It's currently not default on, but it really should be. Right? You should have a business case for not clicking that button because you don't have a cost case anymore. That's it. It's now efficient and really, really cheap to store all of your company's data in Kafka.